Congressman. I wanted to ask you about something that was reported in Punchbowl News this morning, that Leader McCarthy is interested, under a hypothetical Republican-run House in 2023, in preventing members of Congress from owning and trading stocks, whether that's through a blind trust or only mutually traded funds. I wanted to ask you if you could share any more information you might have about that, and say whether you would be interested in including spouses and family members under that as well.
I haven't seen that report. Obviously, there are current laws in place, and we've seen abuses of those laws that have gotten members in the hot water. And, ultimately, there shouldn't be conflicts of interest as it relates to stock. And there are people that come to Congress with 401ks and things like that. But I haven't seen that report. Be happy to look at it. Yes.
If Republicans do win the majority, what would you say are some of the top either investigative or oversight priorities for the GOP?
Well, in addition to bringing legislation to the floor to confront the crises that we're facing, which is something we are already working on, a very bold conservative agenda to get inflation under control, to lower gas prices, to control our border. We also plan on doing a lot of actual oversight, real oversight, robust accountability for the Biden administration that's not being done. I know Jamie Comer and his committee will be very active, but every authorizing committee has an oversight subcommittee, and they're going to be active as well, holding the administration accountable, bringing in cabinet secretaries to start getting answers to some of these questions. We can't get real data on COVID. We will absolutely have a hearing on the origin of COVID. We'll have a hearing to look into the out-of-control crime across America that seems to be encouraged by some of these local governments that are still pushing defund the police, that are not prosecuting criminals, so that you have smash and grabs. You have a lot of other violent crime that's going unchecked in cities. But we want to have hearings on all of these things to get the real facts out and hold the administration accountable for their failures. It's going to be an active part of a Republican majority. We're not there yet. Obviously, we're working hard to get there. But you saw it in Virginia. You saw it in a lot of other states where people don't want big government socialism, and they want to be able to have control, as Lisa McClain said. Parents want to have control over the kids' education. Whether you're conservative or liberal, you're a parent first, and you care about your kids' education. We've talked about a Parents' Bill of Rights. We're going to be bringing a very robust agenda forward, along with real accountability and oversight.
Quick follow-up on that. What about Hunter Biden? Is particularly questions about these paintings that he has been doing, and questions about who is paying for these paintings that are being displayed over in these New York galleries. Will that be investigated particularly?
Well, each investigative committee, I'm sure, is already looking at some of the things we want to do. Holding China accountable is going to be a big issue that we're going to have, and looking into some of these foreign countries. Were foreign countries involved in some of those sales? We don't know, but frankly, I think those are the sort of things that people are very interested in, because there is no investigation going on right now into foreign countries' involvement. It wasn't just China's role in creating the coronavirus. A number of us had a hearing on the Republican side to look into the origin of COVID, and every scientist we had at the hearing, it was not just Republican scientists, people across the political spectrum, all said that if you look at the genome of this virus, it was not transferred from a bat to an animal to a human. It was probably modified and manipulated in the lab in Wuhan. We ought to have real serious investigations into it, but it seems like some people don't want to confront China in their role, not just in the virus, but on so many other fronts. So you're going to see very active oversight and investigation into wrongdoing and into, frankly, into basic transparency that we all ought to know. We all ought to know what is the basic data in each state on COVID. What are comorbidities playing into deaths? We ought to have all the information that, frankly, this administration promised they would give, but they're failing to do. They said they would shut down the virus, and we're worse off today than we were a year ago. But one last question.
Thank you very much. Senator Ted Cruz said a few days ago that there's enormous pressure on a Republican House to begin impeachment proceedings against President Biden. Do you agree with that? Do you believe that there is enormous pressure? Do you feel the enormous pressure to start impeachment hearings if you guys do take the majority next year?
Right now, the real pressure I think is being felt is the failure of this of this administration, Speaker Pelosi, to use the House to help working for families. We want to get the majority back for a number of reasons, but the main one is to go and fight for those families that are being left behind. And they're facing pressure right now. They're facing pressure of inflation. They're facing pressure of high gas prices. There will be a lot of oversight and investigations, and we shouldn't predetermine where that's going to go, but let's get facts out and finally start having real accountability as we determine if somebody did something wrong. That accountability is not happening right now, I think, because they're trying to cover for all the failures of the Biden administration. You won't see anybody covering. In fact, we're going to be working hard to get to the bottom of facts and transparency so we can hold people accountable for the failures of those people who are facing real pressure today out there because they don't have enough money in their pockets and they're paying more for things that they can't even find on the shelves. With that, we'll see y'all on the floor. Thank you.